Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time I'm checking out the arcade shooter collection Space Elite Force. This game comes from Brazilian developer Rising Moon Games, who created several shooters including Space War Infinity and Space Smash, and was published by my friends at Qbyte Interactive, who released several excellent game remasters on the PlayStation. This includes Ganryu, Zero Tolerance and Metal Max Xeno. The Space Elite Force collection contains the first Space Elite Force and its sequel, Space Elite Force 2, with both games being horizontal shooters in the tradition of classics like R-Type and Gradient, with a 16-bit art style and a chiptune soundtrack. Players will blast their way through waves of enemies, dodging projectiles that fill the screen, collecting power-ups and taking on each level's boss. Successfully completing levels will allow you to use collected resources to purchase upgrades for your ship, before taking on the next level. But the real reason I wanted to play this game was its inclusion of local cooperative mode. This allows you to play both games with a friend. I invited Mr. Bobbles to play through the game, so we could see how this compares to other shoot 'em up titles on the PlayStation. Like most coin-operated shooters, Space Elite Force's story is simple, with the main campaign mode placing the player in the role of a pilot in the titular Space Elite Force. Their goal is to repel the invasion of a hostile alien force called the Clivu by using the experimental fighter to destroy their armada. Space Elite Force 2 continues the story, with the player taking the fight to the alien mothership. Each level has you fending off hordes of enemies, with the screen often filled with projectiles and missiles, testing players' skills to their limit. Thankfully, the game has some sharp controls, allowing players to effortlessly maneuver their ship in and out of trouble. The game's upgrade system is detailed for a shooter, with the store offering an impressive array of weapons from machine guns and missile launchers to laser guns and mines. In addition to the campaign mode, there's a challenging arcade mode and also a boss rush mode, allowing you to fight the game's bosses back to back. The developers also included difficulty modes to cater to younger and older players, which was an excellent addition as we found the game's default difficulty to be far too easy in two-player mode, with us completing both games in a little over a few hours. Despite these features, the game suffers from one glaring issue, which is a lack of variety. Space Elite Force only has a small roster of enemies that are virtually the same apart from a different colour scheme. The levels are also very empty, with no obstacles in most levels apart from the enemies you need to destroy. The backgrounds are heavily reused, with the same generic backdrop feeling a little underwhelming. Most of the weapons and upgrades in the game feel underpowered, with the laser guns and missile launcher weapons doing far more damage than anything else. Finally, all of the game's bosses are very similar, being variations on the same enemy capital ship that you have to shoot down. Again, apart from the colour scheme and some slight differences in the weapons used, these battles are almost identical, which felt like a missed opportunity. Even though the game doesn't measure up to other shooters, this is one of the most affordable games on the PlayStation, at only $8 Australian for the entire collection, which I think is at a perfect price. However, if you're looking for a more robust shooter, I recommend the epic Androgynos, which was also published by Qbyte and I've also reviewed. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Space Elite Force collection, and if you did, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe, as it really helps the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope you'll join me next time when we look at another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.